This is Know Thyself Part 9, and today we're going to be discussing pride. Pride is a massive blind spot that hinders growth, alienates others, and distorts our perception of reality. When unchecked, pride can become an invisible barrier that prevents people from seeing their own flaws, taking responsibility for mistakes, complimenting and encouraging others, and appreciating the values of others. Pride can lead to other conditions like God complex. A God complex arises when pride makes someone believe they are infallible or omnipotent. They may see themselves as above normal human limits or ethical boundaries, often demanding worship and admiration. Pride can lead to megalomania. This is an extreme form of pride where someone has an obsession with power and control, believing they are destined for greatness beyond reason or reality. Narcissism. In its classical sense, narcissism was closely associated with vanity, stemming from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a man who fell in love with his own reflection. This original interpretation emphasized an excessive focus on physical appearance and superficial self-admiration. Over time, however, the concept of narcissism has expanded beyond vanity to encompass a person's belief that they are superior to others and become self-absorbed, losing empathy for those around them. Vanity. Vanity is pride focused on appearance or superficial achievements. It can manifest as an obsession with how one looks, their status, or how others perceive them, often at the expense of deeper values. One of the most dangerous aspects of excessive pride is in its capacity to block out sound advice. Those who are prideful often refuse to accept guidance, assuming they're always right, or that others cannot possibly understand their situation better than they do. This form of intellectual arrogance blinds individuals to the wisdom that can be found in other perspectives. Instead of viewing advice as an opportunity to grow, prideful people often see it as a threat to their autonomy or competence. By dismissing input from others, the excessively prideful miss out on the benefits of collective knowledge and experience. They may repeatedly make the same mistakes, unwilling to admit that others might offer insights that could prevent failure. Pride fosters a sense of isolation where individuals create an echo chamber of their own opinions, drowning out external voices of reason. This not only harms personal development, but can also lead to poor decision making, both in personal life and in professional environments. The refusal to admit wrong. Another profound consequence of excessive pride is the inability to admit when one is wrong. Admitting a mistake requires vulnerability, humility, and the recognition that no one is infallible. For the prideful, acknowledging a misstep feels like a personal attack, an admission of inferiority, or a threat to their self-worth. They do not want to admit the other person is right. They hate it. Consequently, they may double down on their errors, justifying poor decisions rather than facing the discomfort of being wrong. This refusal to admit mistakes stifles growth and accountability. In refusing to acknowledge wrongdoing, prideful individuals close the door of learning from their experiences. Over time, this creates a cycle where pride prevents reflection, and lack of reflection solidifies faulty beliefs and behaviors. In the end, the prideful person may be left with nothing but a trail of unaddressed failures that could have been rectified through honest introspection and the courage to admit fault. Closely tied to the refusal to admit wrong is the difficulty prideful individuals have in accepting correction. To them, correction feels like criticism, even if it is given with the best intentions. Rather than viewing correction as a tool for improvement, they perceive it as a challenge to their competence or authority. Pride clouds their ability to discern between constructive feedback and personal attacks, causing them to react defensively or dismissively when corrected. This creates a barrier to growth. In any field or aspect of life, correction is a necessary part for learning and mastery. Whether in a professional setting, personal relationship, or self-improvement, correction offers a path to betterment. However, when pride prevents someone from accepting it, they become stagnant, locked into patterns of mediocrity or error because they cannot acknowledge the need for change. Over time, this can limit success, undermine relationships, and erode personal fulfillment. Overestimation of self, underestimation of others. Pride also distorts one's perception of themselves and others. Excessive pride leads individuals to overestimate their own abilities and intelligence, often causing them to underestimate those around them. This inflated sense of self-worth can result in an unwillingness to collaborate or listen to others, as prideful individuals believe they are superior in knowledge, skill, or talent. This skewed self-perception can have disastrous consequences. When people overestimate themselves, they tend to take a task or challenge that they are not equipped to handle, leading to failure or burnout. Imagine picking a battle you were not ready for. Ouch. On the flip side, underestimating others can lead to misstep opportunities for collaboration, learning, or growth. In professional settings, this might manifest as an unwillingness to delegate tasks, assuming no one else could do the job as well. In personal relationships, it can result in strained dynamics as the prideful person may dismiss the thoughts or feelings of others, damaging trust and connection. The excess of pride, the path of isolation. Ultimately, excessive pride leads to isolation. By refusing to take advice, admit wrongs, accept correction, and appreciate others' strengths, prideful individuals create walls around themselves. Over time, people may stop offering help or advice, knowing it will be rejected. Relationships deteriorate as prideful individuals push others away with their arrogance and refusal to engage in open, honest communication. Even if they achieve material success, they are often left lonely and disconnected, trapped by their own inflated sense of worth. Pride, in its excess, becomes a burden too heavy for any person to bear. It swells beyond its natural place, creating an impenetrable barrier between the individual and the world around them. It's a force that, when unchecked, can consume the mind, distort reality, and sabotage growth. Not even the sea and all the earth have enough room to contain pride. This speaks to the boundlessness of pride when it grows unchecked, becoming too vast even for the world itself to hold. Pride in its excess becomes so expansive that it spills over into every aspect of life, corrupting relationships, blocking opportunities for growth, and ultimately leading to one's downfall. Nothing in excess and nothing too little. This is the essence of balance. So now, so if pride is a vice, right? That's too much. Let's change it up a bit, right? Let's find out what the virtue is. Instead of using pride, now let's use dignity to see why that's a better virtue and why that's a better understanding of one's worth rather than having pride, right? Pride is often celebrated as the cornerstone of self-esteem and identity. While many encourage individuals to take pride in their work and personal appearance, right? We must recognize that the term pride can vary can carry negative connotations. Pride can lead to arrogance, entitlement, or a distorted sense of self-worth. Instead of pride, a more appropriate and constructive approach is to cultivate dignity in our work and to embody dignity in our appearances. Dignity is the fundamental virtue that reflects the inherent worth and respect we hold for ourselves and others. Right? It encompasses the qualities of honor, integrity, and self-respect. When we approach our work with dignity, we acknowledge the values of our effort regardless of the outcome. This mindset fosters a sense of responsibility, commitment, and professionalism, allowing us to have confidence in our achievement without crossing the line into arrogance. In terms of appearance, being dignified means presenting ourselves in a way that reflects our self-worth and respect for others. This does not necessarily mean conforming to societal standards of beauty, but rather embracing our individuality while valuing the effort we put into our appearance. Dignity in appearance signals to the world that we care about ourselves and those around us. Pride is like a small lump of mold, and when it's left unchecked, it can grow and morph into a full-blown hubris, a sense of superiority that alienates us from others and distorts our self-perception. It can blind us to our flaws and lead to a lack of empathy as we may begin to view ourselves as above those around us. So instead of saying carry yourself with pride, we can say carry yourself with dignity. The purpose of this discourse is to illuminate the importance of navigating life through virtues rather than vices. If pride is a vice, we should not use it. Ultimately, the pursuit of dignity should be our guiding principle. By embracing dignity, we cultivate a sense of honor and self-respect in all aspects of our lives. This includes recognizing our accomplishments and having confidence in them, not as an inflated self of superiority, but as a reflection of our dedication to hard work. Moreover, dignity allows us to navigate challenges with grace, maintaining our self-worth even in the face of adversity. It empowers us to stand firm in our values, treat others with respect, and advocate for ourselves without resorting to prideful boasting. So let us strive to be dignified in our actions, work, and appearances. Have dignity in your culture and your roots. And the reason why dignity is a better substitute for pride is because you can have dignity in yourself, right? You can have dignity in your culture. You can have dignity. You could be dignified in your looks, right? You can have dignity in your roots as well, right? And the thing is, you can treat others with dignity as well. You see, with pride, it's just selfish. I can't treat others with pride. I could have pride within myself, but how do I treat others with pride? How? I can treat others with dignity and have dignity in myself. You see, this is why dignity is it's a better virtue, right? It's a more appropriate virtue, right? So, and now, not to mention, but if pride is considered something that leads to so many people's downfall, oh my goodness, if you read Greek mythology, if you read the Bible, if you read, stories like fiction stories, if you read history, so many prideful people have fell because of arrogance, because that's what it leads to, right? So this is why dignity is a better substitute. Now, let's look up another great virtue to combat pride, humility, right? So we talked about dignity as a way to combat pride. Now let's talk about humility. Arrogance blinds you, my friend. You can't even see the most basic truths in front of you. You think you know everything. You believe the world owes you reverence, acknowledgement, or worship. Yet your head is so full of conceit that there's no room left for wisdom, no space for growth. Let me tell you something. Humility is the foundation of knowledge and wisdom. It is the ability to admit you don't know it all, to recognize that you're part of something far greater than yourself. You didn't set the stars in motion. You didn't lay the foundations of the earth. You simply found the world and inherited this life. You are a spirit having an earthly experience, yes, but you are not the one who breathed life into existence. You're not the one who carved the pathway of nature. Yet you act as though you are. You exalt yourself, refuse to listen, reject advice, and ignore the lessons of those who came before you. You have a library of wisdom, centuries of human experience, of people who lived, who learned, who suffered, who triumphed, and you refuse to learn from them. Instead, you put yourself on a pedestal, thinking you are above even the source, the very power that gave you life. You walk through this world with a sense of entitlement, believing you can tamper with the fabric of existence as if they were a toy meant for your amusement. You manipulate life itself, bending it to your will for personal gain, all while ignoring the repercussions of your actions. But let me make this clear. You are a fool, a destructive fool who fails to understand the ripple effects of your arrogance. Your insolence blinds you from the reality that every action has consequences. You think yourself clever, playing God in a game where the stakes is far higher than your ego can comprehend. You trample on the delicate balance of nature and the lives of those around you, treating them as mere pawns in your selfish endeavors. Do you not see the burden you place upon yourself? Those who must endure your arrogance and ignorance suffer under the weight of your inflated self-importance. You are a grotesque burden and unnecessary complication in the lives of those who seek to live harmoniously with the world. Your refusal to acknowledge the wisdom and humility and respect life itself only serves to deepen your isolation and ignorance. You flaunt your disobedience thinking it makes you free, but in truth, it binds you to imbalance and disharmony. But look at you, dead, spiritually barren, with eyes that cannot see and ears that cannot hear. You walk around with all the information at your fingertips, but you can't receive it. Your vanity blocks the truth from entering your soul. You've closed yourself off from the wisdom of nature, the divine truth of life, the harmonious understanding of balance, the teachings that speak through every tree, every breeze, and every cycle of life. You think you're above it, but in reality, you're beneath it, drowning in your own ignorance. True power is found in humility. It's in listening, in observing, and recognizing that there's always more to learn, more to discover. But you can't hear that, can't you? You're too busy worshiping yourself, too caught up in your own reflection to see the vast universe around you, to acknowledge that you're just one small part of an infinite whole. Wake up. Stop pretending that you're the source of everything and start respecting the truth that's been laid out for you since the beginning of time. You weren't put here to be worshipped. You were put here to learn, grow, and to be humbled by the grandeur of existence. Until you realize that, you will remain spiritually dead, wandering in confusion and labyrinth of your own conceit, blind to the truth that could set you free. Humility is the quality of having a modest view of one's own importance. It's the recognition that while you may have stress and achievements, you are not above others or beyond learning. Humility is rooted in honest understanding of your own limitations and the willingness to acknowledge them. It means being open to advice, willing to learn from others, and respecting the wisdom that comes from nature, history, and those around you, and those who have lived before you. True humility is not about thinking less about yourself, but thinking about yourself less. There's a difference, right? I'm going to read that again. True humility is not about thinking less of yourself, but thinking about yourself less. Realizing that the world doesn't revolve around you. It's a quality that allows you to stay grounded, to value others, and to remain teachable throughout life. And that's it. So if you like this video, please like this video. You can share this video. Take notes if you have to. If you agree with me, comment down below. If you don't agree with me, you can also comment down below. Peace.